What are some street smarts everyone should know? I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood in Chicago, and probably the best thing you should do when walking by yourself at night is pay attention to every car. Usually they'll drive past you and scope you out. If you look like a target, you'll see that car again. Or they'll meet you farther down your path while you're walking past an alley. Always be ready for something when walking past an alley and stay close to the houses. That way if anything's suspicious, you can run into a backyard. If someone asks your shoe size, start walking lol. Here are a few of street smarts that makes it harder for pickpockets to steal your stuff. Do not keep your wallet in the back pocket of your jeans. This is a super easy place for pickpocket to take it from. When in crowded touristy areas, it sometimes is better to wear your backpacks or purses to the front of your body. If you sit down in a restaurant, keep your backpack in front of your feet. Be especially aware of your belongings when there is a bit of pushing, like when entering a subway or metro wagon. Be alert in situations where a potential group of thieves try to distract you, for example, by asking you for directions on a map. While you are distracted, by showing the person the directions, another thief will open your bags and take your stuff without noticing. Nobody approaches you on the street because they want to do something for you. It's always because they want something from you. Is that stranger being overly nice to you? Are you on the sidewalk? Are you alone? The reason it feels like something is wrong is because something is wrong. If you're walking and someone approaches, don't break stride. You can carry on a conversation while walking, but people who are looking to proselytize, sell you something, or mug you will want you to slow or stop to address them. If they want to chat, make them keep up with you. You can even tell them that you're in a rush but would love to talk and walk. They'll likely find someone more stationary, because if you can make a person slow, you can make them stop. If you can make them stop, you've already adjusted their priorities and placed yourself at the top. It's a subtle power game. Keep going where you're going, and you retain your power. Stop and cat, and you've given it up and opened yourself to possible problems. If a group of people suddenly get down, so do you. Dancing intensifies. Get down on it. You might be correct when you have the right of way, but you're still the one that's going to be dead when you get whacked by the car if you're walking or on your bike. My friend's dad always said, the cemetery is full of people who had the right of way. If you're going to be away on holiday or somewhere you're unfamiliar with for any length of time, it's a good idea to try to always make sure that someone knows roughly where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing on a given day. Even if you're like me and you don't like to plan out a full itinerary, a rough indication of what your plans might be can help work out your movements if ever there is an issue. But don't post about being on holiday, even vacation photos, until you get back. No need to advertise you are gone and your home is possibly empty. And if a guy dressed as a cop comes by asking about your house's security and holiday plans, don't tell them you're going to Paris. It's fine if you also leave your 8-year-old son behind. They are excellent theft deterrents. You won't get mugged if you look like you're going to mug someone. That reminds me of a comedian. He was going about the scales of not getting mugged/fought, and he was like, act crazy. No one is going to try and fight a crazy person. Always know where the exits are in any place that you enter so that you don't get lost in an emergency. Also, never place yourself in a hole in public where there is only one entrance and exit and no other people around. These are often crime hotspots. When we would rarely go out to eat as a family, my pops would only sit facing the door. I never thought anything of it until I was grown. Do not trust taxi drivers if you are a tourist. I'm not a tourist, and I still don't trust taxi drivers. Every answer on the street in a not so nice area is no. Hey, can I have a cigarette? No. Hey, you got the time? No. Hey, can I borrow your phone to make a call? No. Stick up men wanna see your hands. If they can see your hands, they know you don't have a weapon and will be easier to rob. Hey, have you ever seen a grown man naked? No. Street smarts to give your kids. If you get lost, find the closest adult with kids. I saw this in action once at Disneyland when a 4-year-old kid approached me and my kiddos while we were eating. She joined us very calmly, introduced herself, and said her parents gave her the above advice. I heard her parents shouting her name not long after, and the relief on their faces was a sight. Don't tell even close friends the amount of money you have on you. I was set up by an 18-year-old female coworker this week. She seemed like a sweetheart and was giving me rides to work for a few days. I asked on the Monday if we could go to bank as I needed to cash a check for roughly $4,500. Minutes after dropping me near house, I was robbed at gunpoint of everything by 2 guys. They knew how much they were looking for. The robber said he watched me leave bank, but the police saw on camera near home that they had been waiting for me for an hour. One of the robbers was her ex/current boyfriend, it turns out. Adults do not ask children for help. Always ask for only 1 scoop of ice cream first, because they make single scoops bigger. Then act like you changed your mind and ask for a second scoop. They will be pressured to match the size of the first scoop, providing you with a massive amount of ice cream. If there is one house that looks occupied on a mostly empty street with burnt down as a trap house. When it comes to knife fights, the loser dies in the street, the winner dies in the hospital. First rule of knife fighting: you're gonna get cut. Never do drugs in situations you don't know about. Could be someone spikes it, takes advantage by robbing, rape, kidnapping, whatever it is. Always be paying attention. Utilized a retail store's big reusable bag to hide an expensive purse when walking at a sketchy section in the city. Be aware of surroundings. Look like you belong either through body language, attire, or occupation without being oblivious to things around you. The moment you look lost, out of place, or unsure is the moment you can look like a good target. If someone is looking at you with an expression questioning why you are there, be prepared to answer it with confidence and give an answer they would accept, or be prepared to leave before they can ask. This reminds me of a comedian who was saying the best way to stay safe in a rough neighborhood is to fake a Russian accent cause Russians are terrifying. Never flash your whole wad of cash in a public place while paying for something. Keep a few bucks loose in one pocket for spending. Keep the majority of your cash in a separate pocket. Don't open a wallet full of all your money where other people can see you. My elderly customers always do this, and it gives me hives. Like, Eileen, why do you have like 400 in there? Put it the f*** away. Come on, Eileen. If somebody asks you your name, have a fake generic name and use it all the time. Mike, Dave, and John will do. I use Arthur Curry. Not joking. I'm secretly Aquaman. Totally joking. I'm Tyrone Skinnerdip on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And every other day I'm Chad Jackson. Muggers and criminals often work in groups or pairs with one person trying to distract you. Pay attention when you cross the street on foot. No matter who has the right of way, the vehicle will destroy you. Lightly or heavily. Thanks. My dad had an expression about right of way in traffic. You might have right of way, but end up dead right. My driving teacher told me this. Assume everyone in traffic is an absolute idiot. Walk fast and look pissed off. This is how I deal with people on the street trying to market stuff to me. Be aware of your surroundings and trust your gut. Women should not be afraid to appear rude. The book Gift of Fear has lots of great info. If the situation doesn't feel right, it's not right. Trust your spidey sense. One time I was meeting up with a guy to sell my car. We met up at a mall, so I felt pretty comfortable about the whole thing. He seemed a little off when we met though. I eventually let him take a test drive around the lot and he started to mention taking it for a test drive on the highway. I immediately said nap because he still seemed pretty off, but he kept insisting on taking it there. I had to legit throw the car into park and grab the keys out to keep him from going. The whole time he was saying it's okay, it'll be okay, and that just pissed me off even more. I drove the car back and he just tipped right when we got back without saying a word. That was when I knew I did the right thing. My heart was racing so fast the whole time. It still messes me up just thinking about it. For most people, just keeping your head on a swivel and being aware of what's around you would be a big help. Put your phone in your freaking pocket. Only break one law at a time. Except solicitation of prostitution and illegal drug use. They're the PB&J of crimes. Drive it like you stole it. So very carefully, abiding by all traffic laws to reduce the risk of being pulled over. If someone shouts get down, don't ask why. You should always be afraid of secondary locations. I've heard this before. If someone mugs you, be compliant and give them your stuff. It's just stuff you can get more. If they try and take you somewhere else though, fight and scream and do anything to escape. Because they don't want your stuff. They want you, and that's not replaceable. I was told the same thing. Even if they are going to kill you, it's better to die there instead of being taken to another location, because it could be much worse whatever they plan to do to you at the second location, and it'll be much harder to find them. If you are forced to walk through a bad/dangerous neighborhood, keep your chin up and maintain a confident and comfortable look on your face. Nothing screams abuse me more than an out-of-place person waking around with their chin down, looking at the sidewalk. I learned this after visiting a new girlfriend many years ago in a bad section of Philly. I was walking down the street towards her house and a local female walking by me said, "Keep that chin up around here, white boy." The more I considered that advice, the more logical it sounded. Shut your peeping mouth. It doesn't matter how angry you are or what they said to you. Shut your peeping mouth and walk away. Bruised ego is better than shot dead. From experience. 1. If you're alone on the street and you think you're being followed, immediately call someone. Forget about conversation starters and give away your location. You should add "I think I'm being followed." Speak loudly enough so the person you think is following you hears you doing it. If you're right and they were following you, that will be a big turn off. If you're wrong, you have nothing to lose. 2. It might sound harsh, but if anyone approaches you and asks to use your phone for anything especially emergency related, don't fall for it. They will usually tell you what the emergency is. So walk away. Tell them you don't have a phone/whatever. And for your inner peace, call the emergency and give away that person's location. Tell them exactly what the person told you. Either they really needed help and you're sending it their way, or they tried to trick you into something horrible and will most likely try it again with the next passerby. 3. Whenever you are, plan ahead and blend in with the crowd. I mean, don't dress all fancy in the hood kinda thing. 4. Please, for the love of God, stop using your earphones while on the street. At least try to only have one earbud in if you can't help it. It's not healthy ear fatigue, potential risks to your hearing, etc. But at least it won't completely cover the background noises. If you hold yourself in an imposing way, you are less likely to be messed with. I get that not everyone is 66 and walks very upright, but a little bit of confidence in your walk can help. If you feel uncomfortable in a metro/underground car, slip out as the doors are closing. For bonus security, travel back 1 to 3 stops, then resume your journey. Having been mugged once, I'm gonna make M work for it if there is a next time. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Stay safe. Walk around your car before you get into it. Keep your head up and be alert, or at least look alert. Turn off your car and take the keys with you when you stop at a store or gas station. If you are walking alone at night and you feel like you're being watched/followed, start talking to yourself. loudly about crazy speep. Make it a conversation even. OMG, did you see her dress? That dress was so crazy long. Like, how could she walk? Let alone walk in that grocery store. And those cheap plastic shoes. I own those cheap plastic shoes. Are you saying I'm cheap? If the cheap plastic shoe fits, honey, I'll admit to doing this. I used to work graveyard shifts, and you gotta be aware. Most people, no matter how bad, try to avoid crazy. Crazy will hurt you back. If you're in a big city that you're not from and someone sketchy asks you if you're from there, say yes. If ever you pull out a weapon, be prepared to use it. If you bring a weapon out in a fight, it can be used against you in the fight and legally. Situational awareness. Always. Everywhere. If a stranger talks to you in public and it's not immediately clear why they are talking to you, ignore them. Just keep minding your own business. Don't look at them and don't say a word. Most hustles start as just a friendly chat. Everyone respects true crazy. I once was approached in downtown by a man asking for all my money. I looked him square in the eyes and blurted out something like blah blah blah. He walked away and I kept my monies. Eye contact. A lone assailant will often use the element of surprise to their advantage. If you're walking alone and someone is following you, make eye contact to let them know that you are aware of them. This will often dissuade them from attacking. This tactic has worked for me in the past. Do not unlock your car when halfway across the parking lot from it. Unlock it once you're close enough to see if anyone tries to get into it. If you're having trouble finding your car, you can hit the lock button to get it to chirp without unlocking it. Don't peep with that dude with cauliflower ears. He can take more and harder hits than you think. Get those stickers off your car identifying you as a female. Girls just wanna have fun northeast. It makes you a target. If you live in an urban area with high transient population, regularly check locked gates and rare use access points. Look for things like small pieces of tape on locks. You are being targeted and tested for access to your home that you do not regularly use. Carry 2 wallets. One is a honeypot you hand over if getting robbed. The other is your real wallet. Pro tip: put a little cash and expired credit cards in the honeypot. This will help it look more real. Mind your own business and be alert. Never post vacation information on social media until you're back. You'll most certainly get robbed at some point if you're not smart about it. Also, don't put expensive product boxes, TV, computer, appliances outside before trash day. People will see your new toys. Look up and notice if street lights have been shot out or smashed. If so, avoid those areas at night. There's a reason they've been disabled. Don't get into a car with a stranger. I had a 24 years old international student tell me he didn't know how to respond when a guy on the street asked for money. He said he didn't have any. It was at home. The guy said he'd drive him there to get it. Again, the student didn't know what to do, so he got in the guy's car. They drove to his apartment, where the student went inside and hid until the guy left. I know. For an American, this is completely unbelievable. My cat is more street smart. I wouldn't believe it if he hadn't told me himself. He was very late to class and clearly freaked out. There's a bit more to the story, and with each additional fact, my jaw dropped lower and lower. The kid was adorable and smart, hard-working student, but I kept thinking he should not be allowed outside on his own. If you are in an area where there are storefronts, use the reflection in the window glass to see behind you as you walk. There may be people on the street that you pass, but if they make a sudden move on you, you can react.